Ta-da. Hello, gang. Sorry, we ran into some goofy difficulties, which is funny. Something that none of us had ever experienced before, so it was kind of fun to figure it out. But we're here. So today I have Brian and Mark, and we're going to talk about lawyer type stuff. In order to make sure that we don't have any crazy issues, I kind of slim the stream down. Let this be a lesson to you. Slim the stream down if ever you have to do something like this on the fly. So we're here, but let me say a quick introduction to Mark in the middle, and then Brian on the right. How's it going, guys?
Awesome, doing great.
I have.
Doc, how are you? Good morning in your neck of the woods, and good afternoon to everyone on Eastern Standard Time from good old Toronto, Canada.
You said Toronto. I thought it was Tirana.
Toronto.
Okay, I just want to make sure I say it right. I don't want to get in trouble with like Keely and
just
some of my other
Toronto.
friends.
Then we know you're not from here.
Oh, God, that's super funny. All right, cool. So this is kind of a really loose freeform chat, but one of the things that we wanted to be able to talk to people that specialize in their particular industries is sort of how you're using Ecamm in order to, it's funny to say better your practice. In your case, it really is your practice. But I think when we say it normally, I'm saying it sort of like loosely making other, the guy who's making donuts sound better. But in your case, it really is your practice. So about the donuts, anyway, no, I'm joking. For yourselves.
Yes, Doc, I've had too many donuts through this pandemic. God. Yes.
Can you? Is there a way to send donuts through the internet yet? Because this could be blessed. Okay, so I guess starting with you, Mark, what are you doing with Ecamm in order to sort of improve your practice?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing is amplification of the message, right? I could go and stand in front of 50 people or something at some conference, and that's fine. But the world has shifted, and when Facebook Live started to appear, I found Ecamm almost instantly. And from that day on, it's allowed me to amplify the message, YouTube, Facebook, everything, and look good doing it.
There you go. Okay, so what about you, Mr. Brian?
Hey, thanks, Doc, and thanks, everybody, for joining. We're really excited about this Ecamm for Lawyers because it's all about trying to, amplify your game, so to speak. I mean, we charge enough by the hour. We should at least look good on camera, Doc. And the Ecamm technology takes it to a whole nother level. For myself, I'm starting a number of things, but really I've been using Ecamm for the last year more for recorded videos, but also into Zoom and into some other webinars. And so I think it's so important even for like litigators that are going into court. They don't need to use all these bells and whistles, even though I think it would be a great idea. It helped their case. But they need to present themselves properly. I've been on too many conferences or even webinars that are done by law schools and professional gatherings from law societies. And when you look at how people look on camera with the fans above their head, the blurry view, the looking down at the MacBook Pro, it's like we have to do better as a profession. And I kind of stumbled all this stuff with Adrian Salisbury, and I've taken his Ecamm Live Academy course. It's fantastic, highly recommended, lots of fun. And this doesn't always have to be about going into YouTube channel, though I started that, but this is a great tool to help you communicate. And I think that's what lawyers need to understand. What I've done is I'm trying to figure out how I can use this little production studio that as a lawyer you'd think, well, I'm going to have my assistant do this or the marketing department, when no, it's really you, where you're the actor, you're the talent, you're the producer, you're post-production. In fact, there's not much post-production. You're going live if you want to do that, or you can record it. So it's opened it up at an extremely low cost as well, which is unheard of, Doc.
Okay, so now we're going to check out your production studio, Brian. Look, it seems like you're at the airport. No, that's pretty cool. It looks fantastic.
Let me go back. Let me back to law books.
Oh. Okay, so one pro tip, guys. I don't know if you guys see Mr. Brian there. Have a different background set up that you can switch them on the fly. I know a lot of people don't do this in their green screen, but I think that's an effective use of have multiple backs so that you can change it if you're saying something, now maybe you wouldn't do this in the court process, or maybe you do. I don't know how funny you are in court. I like funny lawyers. I think they're much better, but that's just me personally. But yeah, I think there's something cool. So do you do that changes and stuff when you're in court?
Well, I'm not a litigator.
Okay, better.
I'm more of a deal guy. I do corporate securities laws. I must admit, it depends on the environment where you have to have your scene selection and choice. I mean, if you're negotiating a deal, I don't think you're going to be bopping to different scenes because people will be looking at you like you're not focusing on what you're doing. But the point is, you can have a professional background. You can choose it, and you can easily get like an Elgato green screen, which is behind me. It's like $250 or so Canadian, and you can pick that image. Like, I can, Doc, I could, put my name in here. Just set that up if you can see. I don't think you can see that.
I can see
fully.
It. Yes, yeah, perfect.
So like you can put that in quickly, or take it out. Like be ready. I can do like a live button at the top, if I felt like it. So you set up your scene. So just as if you're setting up your oral argument, if you're a litigator, you set up your scenes in terms of flowing of what you want in it. And obviously, you can be quite particular. I think for lawyers, it would be like their logo. They may even have a picture of their law firm, like outside the law firm, as their background. You can get some really good stuff online, but it's all about presentation and professionalism. And I think it's important that you keep the consistent look and branding for who you are and how you want to hold yourself out. Because, I know some technology lawyers, they are not wearing suits at all. And that's cool. That's how they connect with their people, or in the entertainment law business. Yes, you look like an entertainment lawyer to me, Doc.
Suits is really hot in Hawaii. I don't know if you know, it's like 98 degrees outside. So that's funny, Brian. Mark, I know like you're just dominating the YouTube space, but for people who don't know any better, tell me, what are you using in order to, I guess, Ecamm for in order to expound your practice, so to speak?
Yeah. So for me, when it comes to Ecamm, it's live streaming. So unlike Brian, I've really, for the last almost 5 years now, I've been streaming every week. I picked a day of the week. It's changed a little bit over time, but consistently live streaming. And the thing that I love most about Ecamm is the fact that I can pull listeners' comments and questions right onto the screen and then address them. And there's nothing more powerful to an audience than having them ask questions about different aspects of, in my case, Canadian immigration, and you answer them. And it's not giving legal advice. This is information. And whenever someone connects and asks something that is specific to their situation, then I just notify them, hey, that's, I can't address that specific thing, but let's see if we can generalize it. And going live consistently for that period of time, it takes a while. It's like farming, right, Doc? So,
yes,
for years I was planting those seeds. It was like planting a fruit, like starting a fruit farm. And it took a few years for things to start to materialize. And then once you establish yourself, you build your platform, then you have an ability to really influence. And when it comes to Canadian immigration, Ecamm for me has been great because of the ability to share my screen. Like if they ask a question about Canadian immigration, I literally show them on the government's website where to find the information. It just creates even more connection and more engagement, and that know, like, and trust is like off the charts. And so for me, yeah, the YouTube channel's been growing like crazy, but I'll be honest, it's been the connections and the ability to stream to multiple, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter before Periscope kind of shut down, but I would broadcast to all of them. And so I'd have people that would be commenting from all of those different platforms that I have, and it allowed me to expand the reach in a way that I couldn't do previously. So
see, Twitter needed Brian to help them make a better deal, because
exactly.
It's funny. Nobody talked about Periscope until it was going away. Then it was like, no, don't take Periscope away. And I was like, oh, you guys stream the Periscope? No. Actually, I had a funny story about Periscope. I got banned by accident because I was playing with the Restream. Restream has a bot thing built in to basically remind people to subscribe. Okay. Yeah. I don't know why, but I went in and started messing with it, and I changed one of the zeros in the second timer. So it was just going brang, 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 and they just thought I was a bot. So they got really mad at me and kicked me out and never let me back in. I was like, hey, it was an accident. And they're like, yeah, forget about that. So that was the end of my Periscope days.
Yeah, fortunately the audience that you're garnering through Periscope wasn't a big loss, I guess.
No.
I'd have one or two people on just kind of as a little comic relief that, oh, someone's tuning in via Periscope. Well, hey, how about, it was kind of fun.
I think that was at most people's experience. I have one person I know that had a decent crowd on Periscope, but yeah, most people, it wasn't a thing. So it's kind of funny to, see it go. None of us are pouring out any liquor for Periscope, no longer being with us.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I like, it's neat that, I think one of the challenges, I guess, and what's neat to me about it is I think one of the challenges with Ecamm is everyone thinks that they have to follow some sort of script. And, I guess I'm biased, being an Ecamm person, that I consider us like a bechamel sauce or a buttercream. We can be whatever you want to be. Like, you really don't have to follow some script. And I guess for some of the more professional practices, they like things to come in a box where you just press go and then everything is ready. But then that would take away the beauty of allowing it to be what you want it to do. So, I mean, I guess, Brian, maybe you can address this because you're finding ways, again, to take something, no diss at all, one of the most boring practices in the planet and making it exciting. So, yeah, like what would be your advice for someone who's thinking about like how can I make my stuff just more appealing?
I think really just as like I work out, you got to go to the gym. I mean, I go to my son's house and work out now with COVID. But like you got to do your reps and you got to get comfortable with a microphone. Like you can have a microphone, not like you and I have in front of us. Mark has a Rode over him. There's different styles. You can have headphones or not. But at the end of the day, Doc, it's all about know, like, and trust. And I think what lawyers are realizing is that you can be in the business 20 years and very noted and notable or otherwise. But if you're a young lawyer looking to get going, you can jump on this and quickly establish know, like, and trust because you're talking to people, explaining to things. When Ecamm came out with the guest interview feature that we're doing right now, before they used Skype and there was some work involved. Now it's so simple. What for the other professionals that are watching this is and lawyers is you can actually have interviews with other lawyers in your law firm that are across the country, your clients. This is a media asset. So as we're talking about the case uses of Ecamm for lawyers, we could talk about every law firm has like large ones have, doing business in Canada or doing business in Wyoming or whatever. And they have the different practitioners that talk about the different areas of law. And I'm thinking, if they just had that book, which nobody reads, but if you actually had some recording videos where the person that wrote the chapter on intellectual property law or securities law talked about what it's like to do business in Canada, Doc, people would sooner listen to that video or watch it than read a long, boring treatise. And more so, what I found, Doc, is what people are doing, especially lawyers write a lot. I got this great book. It's YouTube related. It's the YouTube Formula by Daryl Eves.
Oh, I love that book.
What people are doing is, let me kind of move it over here. Oops, hang on the other way.
Trying to find the right way.
There you go.
There we go.
Cover your face. There you go. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so what they're doing, Doc, is they're writing stuff. There, look, Mark. I'm gonna hand it over to you, Mark. Okay.
Yo, that's awesome.
Okay. So what they're doing to get back to lawyers here is you write stuff, and you can publish stuff. But then if you do a YouTube or recording video with it, so what's happening now is Daryl Eves did a whole book about the YouTube algo. But then he also has a landing page where he has a video per chapter and instructions. And so when you look at that business model for lawyers, you can literally like write a book, write chapters, and then do a video, explain it. Because one thing being a lawyer in whatever area you practice, Mark, you're in the same boat, is when someone interviews you or speaks to you for the first time, they probably ask you like 10 basic things. So if you want to think efficiency, Doc, why don't you do 10 separate videos, and you can say, hey, look, thanks for asking me. I'm going to send you an email. Can I get your email address? Important to establish a client base. I'll send you an email. In fact, one will come out in the next 10 days that will talk about different things about immigration. Could be securities, could be whatever area of law, environmental law, could be employment law. The value of this is your time. So rather than going through the whole spiel with every client, I just point that out because lawyers write. They write articles, they write books. And I'm saying if you take this and then you also have a landing page and you do a video or a live or an interview, it's absolutely wonderful in terms of it's a game changer, a complete game changer.
Yeah. That's very cool. And, that I think one of the key aspects is many cases, you're talking to someone who is at a extremely high stress level, right? If we have to call one of you guys, normally we're at an extremely high stress level, or we're just looking to get back at somebody, so we're in a different frame of mind. So I guess being able to take some of the barriers away, make yourself look more approachable, make them feel more comfortable, those things all lead to better communications, right? So even imagine I'm deciding, okay, it's time for me to escape from South Coast Canada, and I want to come up there, and I got to no, I'm coming to stay. I'm going to bring all my stuff. I'm packing up the Sonys. I'm on my way, and I want to get a hold of Mark. Then it's nice to be able to go to YouTube and just do a bunch of interviews with Mark without ever saying a word to him. I already know that's the guy because I've been watching him on YouTube. Are you finding this as a top of, I hate these words, but people know what they are. Are you finding YouTube to be a top of the funnel for you at all, Mark?
Yeah. So initially it was Facebook, and then Facebook did some weird things that irritated me. So I started a private group. That was where it started. It was a private Facebook group, and the group has now about 127,000 people. But the part that was so infuriating for me was that most of them wouldn't even see the video when I went live. And so I'd get people saying, where's your video? I don't see it. It wouldn't even appear on their timelines. I tell them to, click their notifications, whatever else. But at the end of the day, I just felt, man, this is stupid. And then within the private Facebook group, I couldn't share it. People who wanted to share the video, freely, they couldn't. So we stretched out to a Facebook page, and then we started, and this is once again through Restream and through Ecamm. We then started broadcasting in both. And then I realized, it's easier just to store everything in YouTube so people can go back and watch them. So I started just uploading them to YouTube. And then the next evolution was streaming straight to YouTube. And by far right now, it's shifted. I'd say 70% YouTube, 30% Facebook. Great. And every once in a while, I'll hit on something that just is just the sweet spot, right? And, and then you'll get, I literally had 13,000, the views have increased substantially. And understand, this is a law channel, Doc. This isn't something cool that people watch and are entertained by. This is people who want to immigrate to Canada. And so I bring guests on, other lawyers to join me in what I call my Immigration Nation. On that, I have a playlist for that. But ultimately, the live streams, if you can hit on the right spot.
Mark, I see you there in that picture. We have a purple shirt. Let's look at that for a second, Doc, because I think that says it all.
This one right here?
Yeah, he's been doing this for a while, and if you see, Mark is absolutely killing it, everybody. I gotta share this with you. I can speak to him because he'll be too embarrassed, but he's been killing it for a long time. And if you want to understand a model that makes you money as well as provides access to justice and efficiencies, Doc, all I can tell you is this, and Mark, please let me share this quick story about you because I'm so happy as your friend and proud of you. There were changes in immigration law, and Mark tweaked his course, okay? And so what happens is you fill out all these forms. So you're not going to spend hundreds of dollars an hour for a lawyer to fill out forms. So Mark taught you in the course that you paid for how to fill out all the forms. He then moved you into a Facebook group where there was, he would have these lives with Ecamm, and as the law was new stuff was happening, and he's done this in the last month, because they opened the doors in Canada on certain types of people coming to Canada, and he jumped all over this. And so imagine just access to justice, if that's what you're into. Mark was able to process and deal with so many people to get in the queue at the right time, as well as they saved money, he made money. When you look at his model, it's beautiful. And I'm a big admirer of that. Yes, he's done a great service. Yes, he's made money, but he's allowed the most people to come into the system and probably increase the accuracy and the chance of success and having a complete application. So for that, it's a big party time for Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Brian.
That's actually
I appreciate
very
it.
smart, Mark.
Yeah.
That's extremely smart. I don't know if you've listened to the Pat Flynn story, but how he became Pat Flynn was basically writing a guidebook for people to pass an architectural test. And it's funny because when I was doing my CCNA back in my Cisco networking days, I remember combing the darkest parts of the net looking for test guides, because to buy the test guides, they were crazy expensive. And I was like, if I could afford that, I'd already be a CCNA. So I remember looking for those things, and they were just trash. Like, they were absolutely horrible. So I think it's cool that you're making something like this. And, to Brian's point, to see your progression over the last 3 years, it's quite impressive. You got rid of the purple shirt. I love purple, by the way. Look in my room. But
you
bring
look
back,
at that, Doc.
Bring back the purple
shirt. You can see the videos, right? You can see the videos. This is a great example right there, the popular upload. So some of those were, they were some of the first videos that I did. So they've been out there for like 4 or 5 years. And then you transition to now, and with the help of Ecamm and this live streaming and just understanding more how to service the people that are a part of your tribe or your followers or whatever. The videos now, as far as numbers, like I've had live streams where there's been 1,200 people, 1,300 people that are watching live. And that was right in the midst of what Brian's talking about.
Wait a second.
About.
That's 1,300 people watching a lawyer, Mark? Like, are you for real?
It's pretty crazy. But you develop this, people, they realize you are the source of information, and then they come and you give freely, you help, you share, you don't hold things back. And it's been crazy how this all played out. But Ecamm allowed me to here's the secret. Okay. This is the difference between myself and some big, Bay Street lawyer or whatever, at a big national
wait a second. And Bay
global
Street
firm.
is like the Wall Street of the U.S.
I was just going to calculate that in my head. I was seriously processing.
It's like this Wall Street, big, global, Wall Street firm who have this unbelievable tech department with videographers and professional everyone.
You don't have that?
No, they had no. It's me and my good buddy Igor, who helps me with a little bit of the background stuff.
Mark.
Yeah, but the thing is, the thing that made it so awesome was that I could pivot so fast, no one could keep up. So literally the moment I got, and I'm the national chair of the Canadian Bar Association's immigration section. So on Friday, I'm going to be interviewing the immigration minister for our conference. So I have an opportunity to connect at a very, very high level with the government, see what they're doing. And so the moment I learned anything, I just shared it. Like, I didn't hoard it. Lots of times, if someone gets information, they'll hoard. So I just shared everything that I knew. I shared it with the Canadian Bar Association lawyers first.
Wait a second.
I'm their chair.
Mark, that's very anti-lawyer of you.
I know.
Don't share.
Breaking
giving
barriers.
it away for free. I mean, let's check this business model out. Maybe you can elaborate on that, because this will be new for lawyers if they're watching this.
Yeah, it freaks a lot of lawyers out, this concept of giving what you sell away for free. But that's exactly what I was doing. I could have positioned myself, if you want to learn more, then you have to book a consult with our law firm, which people did in droves. But it was after I had shared everything freely. But Ecamm allowed me to turn things around so quick. Even the whole course, I created, step-by-step guide, how to fill out the forms, all through Ecamm. And I didn't need some expensive production crew. Literally, it's choose the recording feature, flip the screen around, show the form, and explain what's happening. And that's what people are looking for. They're not looking for, they're looking for something that's useful and helpful in my realm, not something that's necessarily
I know you guys like to
beautiful.
read a lot. So
Yeah.
This is a book for those of you who are trying to figure this stuff out, like what he's talking about. Go Giver is an excellent book that explains things like this. There's a series of these actually, the red one, purple one, green one, and I believe like a goldish color one. But you'd be surprised at how much your business will do once you get into this concept of like, I'm going to trust that they want to come to me because I know what I'm talking about, so I don't have to hide behind some secret sauce formula, right? I can just tell people everything, and a lot of times that will convert more because, I don't know, there's certain, I used to be a used car salesman, I used to be a real estate agent. I never did the lawyer thing, but I would have covered the trifecta of the three people that everyone hates, right? And which is crazy because we're all generally nice people. I have a real estate agent. She's still in bed. So, you know, it's just one of those things where you have certain industries that because of modern culture or I'm sorry, pop culture or the media or whatever that people are just afraid of and you shouldn't be because you kind of need them. Like for instance, no one's ever read their terms of service for these sites that we all signed up for, or no one's ever read their EULAs. In-user license agreements for their software that we have people buying, oh, I got another machine. I need to buy another copy of Windows. And I'm like, no, you don't. Just use the one you already got. Oh, no, you got to have one for each machine. I go, you ever read the license? It says 2 computers. They're like, oh, really? So most companies bought extra 1,500 copies of Windows they didn't need because no one ever read the EULA. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I appreciate the fact that, you know, you do the giving model first and then go in and, you know, reconnect with people from there because it is like, I don't know if you guys have in Costco up there where they just hand out samples and get you addicted to whatever it is that they were trying to sell. It's like, I don't even want this crap. I don't want this crap. Oh, the sample's there. Let me taste it. Oh, and then 2 more bags in the cart.
That's kind of good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then your $100 grocery bill becomes $500.
Exactly. I try to purposely shop Costco in the last 30 minutes when all of those tasting stands are gone.
Damn.
1, it's not crowded. 2, you don't have to taste anything because you will buy stuff that you did not want. And then when you get it home, it don't taste the same as the lady made it.
Doesn't taste as
anyway.
good.
Let me check and see if anyone in the comments is making trouble to us. Hey, Aubrey, good to see you here. I appreciate you as always. Aubs is one of my buddies. She is extremely smart lady hanging out there. I see the young Sammy the Jedi is here. Sammy, stop streaming and go to law school. Let's just put you there. And then I see Wilson Green says, do you need an app to join Ecamm Live interview? Like the guest can join at any time. You know, honestly, I just send these guys a link and then they click it and they come in and Brian cracks a few jokes and then we're laughing and then we go live. So that's basically how it works. You need a link. They need a browser. You need an extremely funny litigian or counselor in his case, advisor, whatever, pick a word. And a barrister. I'm going down my list. and then you just need to have Ecamm running on your computer. People, I don't suggest this, but people have totally came into my show on a mobile phone, you know, just through their browser and their mobile phone. It's harder to mitigate if they don't have, you know, good internet or good lighting. Because it's not as forgiving. So I guess in order to get further into sort of Wilson's question, Mark, let's start with you. What are you using for your camera right now?
Yeah. So I've got a Panasonic. What is it? G7.
G7.
I think is what. Yeah. So I used. I also went through Adrian's Pro Video Academy, and so that's
I gotta
what
say,
I
you
used
look
to
extremely good
up.
for a camera that came out like more than almost 2015. It was like a 2015. So a lot of people don't understand that. If you got the proper lighting, first of all, you can make almost any camera look good. But you know, a lot of people, they don't see that coming with the lighting. What do you have, Brian?
I have the same. So
matching.
Adrian Salisbury.
How come he's more handsome than you?
Adrian Salisbury has done a lot of these Ecamm courses. And so also he has Pro Video Academy. So for you out there saying, I don't know how to use the camera, I don't know how to do all this stuff, he has a whole system where he lays it all out, what to buy, how to hook it up, and you're part of a group. And that's what attracted me, is that I took his Ecamm Live Academy course. I understood more about live streaming because honestly, as a lawyer, that's for young kids. I don't need to do this. I don't need to use it. Totally wrong. And I think this all came together when we all started our global coronacation. We all stayed at home and we're chilling out, reading too many newspapers about doom and gloom. and thinking there must be some other way to spend her time and be happy than watch streaming videos day in and day out. And so I kind of went down this educational journey and found Adrian, found Ecamm, love it, and then I needed equipment. He also has a YouTube course that I just finished. So again, you don't have to do all of it, and you can do it off a simple cam quarter. But the point is this: start, because you can change your game, and Ecamm gives you a tool. So instead of giving it to the marketing department, instead of spending thousands and thousands of dollars, I literally, and so does Mark, I have, like you said, my camera, I have lights around me. I come down, I turn on the lights, turn on the camera, and I actually have this hooked up through my cell phone. So through I have a Rodecaster Pro, which is a mixer. You don't need this, but I'm saying I did all this, that I speak on my calls every day with that. I use Ecamm when I can to go into Zoom or WebEx and things like that. Like some law firms don't want Zoom. And so I'm trying to get you thinking of use case scenarios for your practice. At the end of the day, you start, you do a little bit. But one thing, Doc, I want to share with you is presentations are critical. Lawyers do lots of presentations, PowerPoint, etc. And you can use the Ecamm with your presentation. You can even bring in a screen. So if you went to, let's say, a government site, let's say immigration, Mark has brought in the site, showed them where things are. So you're talking real time, bringing in the screen from the web, showing a video, and that's the game changers, that your level of communication and to do it professionally with Ecamm is a game changer. And that's why I'm so passionate, excited about that. Why I look at Mark and say, sure, I wish I could aspire to be like he's doing. He's been doing it for a while, but he's nailing, I know he doesn't like this, but he's nailing it, people. Right. I mean, he has over 30,000 subscribers. Doc, he's a lawyer, okay? What's going on here? Okay,
I told you he's handsome. He got us beat. Yeah. He got the one thing on us. But to Brian's point, gang, look, it's just because it's the season. I pulled up the IRS website. You know, my bad. But he said government site, and my hands were twitchy because it's the season. So I brought up this. But yes, you can go to website. If you have keynote presentations or PowerPoint presentations, PDFs, you can basically bring all those things in. And even in a situation like today, if we were doing a Boyd, Kosak, and Hoth, litigation, and we wanted to show somebody a presentation, we could actually have this set up, have our presentation here, and we're presenting our case, to either the panel or the grand jury, because we're trying to get Miss Fox out of jail for slinging really amazing software. So
that's hilarious.
We would need a setup like this so we can show what's going on. Look, this software is helping people. It's not hurting anyone.
Absolutely. Hey, Doc. One
Kurt,
thing I want to, one thing I really want to emphasize here is, so December 2019, I was with another firm, a regional firm here, and I just wasn't able to do the things that I wanted to do. So that.
How did that make you feel?
Midway, I was unbelievably frustrated. So in December 2019, I said, okay, I'm going to shift. I'm going to pivot. And I left.
That's how I felt, Doc. Sounds say
that's
it
how
all.
I felt. Yeah, exactly. I left, and I created a cloud-based firm, a virtual firm, out of my house, December 2019.
You had an idea.
Lawyers, working. Oh my goodness. Can you turn Brian's audio off? Can you mute him?
Actually, I've got the power. I'm like He-Man.
Okay, I'll stop.
But
I'm
decided
doing sound effects to your story.
I had started to build this little following, right? And then I left, and it was just me. I left everyone behind because none of them wanted to do it. They were afraid to leave and work out of their homes in December 2019. I said, fine, I'm going. And so I left. And then immediately 2020 started adding people virtually who also wanted to work out of their homes. And then the pandemic hit. And then everybody's working out of their homes, and we were already in place. But what I want people to understand is that with Ecamm, yes, there's the big firm lawyers who have all this money, resources, whatever, to do this. But you as a solo practitioner, which is the vast majority of lawyers out there, Doc, that are on their own, toiling away, whether they're doing family law, whether they're doing, criminal law, even the criminal lawyers, by and large, are lone wolves. And so what you have to understand is that this is the most inexpensive, effective tool that you have at your disposal to compete head on with the big marketing budgets that are out there. And it just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of investment. Heck, you're doing it anyways, trying to run your practice.
Yes.
Carve out just a little bit of time to do this. And you're going to be able to compete head to head with the big boys. And also you're going to be able to pivot way faster. And that's what
Correct.
the world is at now. It's on demand information. And if
I
you
gotta
can
say,
get out and be the first, you're laughing.
My buddy Kirk, who just joined us, he has an amazing stream, and he's been doing some stuff with us recently, one of our newer shows. But he has a really cool show called How It All Works. And what he does, which is quite amazing, is he walks people through some of the more, I wouldn't say complicated, but I like to say daunting, because I think a lot of people put complication on things that aren't complication because they just have an assumption of complication, right? Restaurants make a mint out of making us think certain things are complicated and you can't make this at home. And then Food Network came out, and then Food Network showed everybody that you can make all this stuff at home. And then restaurants had to level up. So now some of the restaurants are going into their gigantic, I forget the name of the book, but it's the Epicurean manual. They got to dig in and pull out some really difficult stuff that requires, sort of the mixology, if you will. It requires some of the molecular gastronomy, because they can't just get away with making stuff because it's so easy anymore. So I think you bring to the point that you were able to take something that everybody else was afraid was complicated and then just run with it. And then now you're doing it. You were in place when the time happened. So again, to Kirk's show, he's teaching you how to do all these things and explaining you the hows and the whys and diving in. So if you're looking for another good resource as things that you can do to sort of grow and lift your channel and do your things in your space, it will be helpful. I did want to circle back real quick to your YouTube channel, just because it's kind of cool. I like the setup.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you 2 tips as a YouTube coach.
Please.
Okay.
Please.
These first 2 fields here, the latest content and the popular uploads, that's YouTube's thing. Write these the way you write it. Like, change the title of those lists to things that make sense to the way you do them instead of your own. So in this particular series, right, this could be like your Canadian Immigration 2021. Change the title of that list to Canadian Immigration 2021 instead of latest uploads. Everybody has latest uploads. 2 things why. I can immediately grab something and run down the list without having to scroll. I'm on a large monitor, so I can see the 3rd and 4th list. Most people aren't going to see that. I have a 34-inch monitor, so they're going to see these 2 when they first walk in. Let me adjust my screen so that you guys see what I see. This is what most people will see, just those 2. And so you look like every other channel. So change those original 2 playlists to something that's A, searchable, and B, not target. What's the word I'm looking for? Action causing. Call to action. Hey, Doc, welcome to English 101. Okay, so something that's a call to action, and you trust me, it will help out a lot. But I mean, you're already killing it.
Awesome.
So that was about the only one really. And I love your banner. Your banner is really cool.
Yeah. Well, do you know, Doc, like the amazing thing about this is, like, as long as you have a mindset of never good enough, like always looking to learn.
We talked about this yesterday.
Always looking to, like, I'm always looking to see not what lawyers are doing. I don't care what lawyers are doing. I look to see what you're doing. I look to see what other people that are really, really killing it on YouTube. I look to see what they're doing. And I was just talking with my, Brian, I was just talking today with my right arm man, Igor. I said, can we do super chat? And he said, no, you can't. Not quite. We need 100,000 followers before we can do super chat. Because in my lives, Doc, I have so many people posting questions that they get frustrated because I can't get through them.
You can do super chat at 1,000.
What? Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, all right. I might just try that. So, Brian, you charge $1 or something for people to bump their questions up, because the reality is. Okay,
I'm going to give you another pro tip then. Hey, now we're working, gang. Let me give you another pro tip. I absolutely 110% adore super chat. However, buy me a coffee is better. And I tell you why. You can do some things with Buy Me a Coffee that you can't do with Super Chat. Number one,
I don't know
generating.
what Buy Me a Coffee is.
You just go to buy
What
me.
is that?
I will send you a link.
Okay.
I'll grab the link in the chat. But so the cool thing about Buy Me a Coffee is it's a site that allows you to allow people to tip you for wonderful things that you might say and do on top of the internet, right? Number two, it allows you to build a membership. So, for instance, yesterday we were watching Kirk's stream. When the stream was over, he had one of our other fantastic e-cammers, Pastor Keith, on. And then when they're done, if you are a member to Kurt's stream, I do the same thing on my personal stream. You can go to an after party. So we all jump on Zoom after and we have a conversation. It's supposed to be like a 15, 20-minute after party. We were there for like 2 hours because conversation got deep and we started talking about stuff. We started digging into the book Go Giver. We started talking about what you just said, always striving to get to that next motion, right?
How do I get into that? I want in, Doc. I
well,
want in.
You can join
gotta
Kurt's
drop it in the
membership. You can
links,
join my
Doc,
membership.
drop
It's in
it
there.
in.
I'm gonna show you.
I'm-
Now, another thing you can do, both of you guys, you can put what I call a tripwire. Okay, people, a tripwire would be here is the forms already set up for you with the guide of how to fill it out, the instructions of why each one of these fields means something, right? And there is an explanation either as a video or as a written like thing. Someone comes to your Buy Me a Coffee page and they buy you 2 Timmys, right? Yeah, I'm ready for you. Somebody buys you 2 Timmys and a sandwich, right? Then you would be able to submit them instantly, that guide. Now, it's your tripwire guide. It's the kind of your top of the funnel thing for the old marketing
Sorry, I
people.
got to interrupt you. Yeah, Doc. I mean, come on. You have a Canadian-American audience, okay? This is Timmy's, okay?
Hold on.
This is Tim Hortons.
Wait.
That's what we call
Brian,
it.
where you at? Come here, Brian.
Hey,
There
here
we
I
go.
am.
Okay.
Give it a spin, man. Give it a spin.
Bruh, that you gotta have the Timmys, right? Come on, you gotta have the Timmys. When I go home to New York and I'm in the LaGuardia, the first thing I do is I run to Timmys and get a sandwich because we don't have that here in Hawaii. We have all the Canadians come here for vacation, but no one ever thought to open a Timmys in Hawaii.
Open to Tim Hortons.
Are you
in
listening,
Hawaii.
Mr. Horton? Listen to me, right? So, yes, but you can do tripwires. You can do a membership, which is like if you belong to this membership, say for the other immigration lawyers, we have get-togethers or meetings, So my gang, we have a meeting every Saturday. We get together and we talk stories. So myself, Keely, Kat, Mulvihill, brother Luis down there in the chat, like we all hang out and we basically have a 2-hour powwow, which is like study hall. It's actually, that's what I call it. I almost forgot. I call it because we study. Like we get in there, we study our practice of becoming better streamers, right?
Like a sweet
Man, it's a
online
fantastic
mastermind.
thing. So even also, you also have the ability
Doc,
to
we
do
got to
memberships.
do this for Ecamm for
Yes.
lawyers. You're onto something. It's a great
Oh,
idea.
100%. 100%. Hey, Jake, good to see you here, buddy. I do it all the time. And the reason why, Mark and Brian, why this is important, Buy Me a Coffee. If you have 2 subscribers, you can start. If you wait for not Ecamm, see? If you wait for YouTube to monetize you, you need 4,000 hours and 1,000 subscribers. So
Okay,
this
that's
way
it.
you can start your business from day one if you have something valuable. And again, I'll pick on my buddy Kirk because he's here, and my buddy Luis, who's also showed up in the chat. Luis just started his channel like a little bit ago. I think it was December when we were doing Vlogmas, and he already has his Buy Me a Coffee page and he's doing his live streams. And so
But wait
it helps
sec,
out
Doc.
a single father
we're
get started,
lawyers
you know?
here. We're lawyers here. This is Ecamm for lawyers. I mean, we got to change it. We got to up the game. Like, why can't it be Buy Me a Pint?
You can
Like,
change
that
it
would
to whatever you
resonate
want.
With our UK,
Yes.
our UK
that's
audience would resonate.
See, you're on it, brother.
See
You
at
can
the
change
pub.
it to whatever. You can put it to Buy Me a Gavel if you wanted to. Not that you want to be a judge, but you can. Hey, these books are expensive. Buy me a book. Like you can change it to whatever you want. And since both of you guys have the $15 IKEA scale, you can put it to Buy Me a Scale. You can change it to
Nice.
whatever. Somebody has pizza. I think Luis has his changed to gadget because he's a gadget guy. You know, he's not maybe drinking coffee. So yeah, I really thought
Well, I
about
didn't
changing mine
realize-
to
actually,
sake,
Doc,
but
I was
nobody
joking.
knows that.
Here's-
I didn't realize you can actually change the name.
100%,
That's good to know,
brother.
too. That's good
Okay.
intelligence. I thought
Here's
we were
another thing.
fixated and had to use that. Yeah.
Yeah. So here I'm thinking here, and why
can
can
see
it
the
not
smoke.
be towards a charity?
100%.
Giving.
That's what Rob.
Right?
See,
So
you
say,
Canadian
"Look,
guys.
this
That's what
is-
Rob Balasabas
yeah.
does.
Yeah. That's if you want to get it bumped up, then contribute to this good cause that's worthwhile.
That's exactly
That
what
would
Rob
be
does.
awesome.
He's in Vancouver, aka Northern Seattle.
Yeah.
Canadians.
So that's
And
exactly
I'm in
what he does.
Alberta. I don't think I told everybody. I'm in Lethbridge, Alberta, which is a town of a little over 100,000 people, and I'm a sole immigration. Like this is all I do is immigration law.
Oh my God!
And,
You know what? I gotta talk to my buddy
So
to ask
this
him
is
who his
Alberta.
lawyer
This
is.
is Alberta, Doc. I thought I'd share that. This is how beautiful it is there.
My see, why do I keep wanting to change Brian to Mark? I just put these in alphabetical order. There you go.
Welcome to Alberta, the
So,
Rockies, Banff.
Check this out. My business partner, because one of my things before I decided to become full-time streamer is in this wood shop, and my business partner is from Okotoks. I'm like, brother, nothing
Nice.
sounds
I live there.
Okotoks.
nothing sounds more country than the word Okotoks. What the hell is that?
That's
So,
awesome. I
he
actually
sent-
lived there. Mhm.
Really?
I've lived in Okotoks for 2 years. Yeah, well, I was
He
just
sent me
starting
a
law.
picture, and he was like, "Oh, I'm," because he's back home now. He went home to get a surgery, and so he's at home. He's recovering, and so he sends me a picture recently, and there's this gigantic deer in the backyard, like at the back door, like I feel like it must have been like 5 feet away from his door, and I'm like, "What the heck?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's Okotoks for you." And I was like, "Oh wow."
Okotoks.
Yes, he lives in a maple grove somewhere that his family owns, and that's how he became a woodworker. Of course, if you grow up in the maple grove, you learn how to make things. So, the funniest guy ever. Me and Andy would just get on the phone and just crack up forever. So yes, when I told Keely, one of my other partners, she's also in Calgary, when I mentioned Okotoks, she's like, "How do you know about that?" And I was like, "Well, random. We have a lot of Canadians that moved to Hawaii, so that was Andy's fault." That's very cool.
Awesome.
Before we wrap things up, I just wanted to ask you, Brian, because one of the things that you've been able to do, I think amazingly, because I mentioned this a lot to my people who are thinking, what should they do, right? And you mentioned in passing about using Ecamm from the virtual camera aspect as opposed to the live streaming. I think the fact that most people see it as a live streaming platform, be on YouTube, be on Facebook, be on the aforementioned Periscope, that they don't realize that you can, like you said, with WebEx or some of your other things, bring in the virtual camera situation. And to me, the number one thing that you get to do when you bring in that virtual camera situation is just make the entire boring conference call look better. So could you touch more on virtual camera for the people who are not quite understanding
Sure,
that?
absolutely.
And I swear I'm going to press on your face this time.
How do I use Ecamm? And you can look at it saying, well, I don't want to live stream. I don't want to go into YouTube. No problem, but it's there. I think the key point is when you as lawyers, we are every day on WebEx, Zoom, etc., with clients, etc. So you can have your logo, your branding. You can bring in sound. It really is a tool that if you just did it on Zoom calls, you would up your game to be ready to go into a webinar or a live or something on YouTube. And I just think practically is that the tool is there to be used every day. And if you understand that, you can bring in a presentation, you can have your logo, you can do other things. I won't get too complicated, but that is the game changer. And that's probably why I started, because I just had a MacBook Pro camera. I had no idea. I was overwhelmed. I didn't know where to start. And as I started this, I use that pretty well every day. So that's how I do use it. But I just want lawyers to understand, or even other professionals, that when you can bring in video easily, you can bring in websites easily, you can do presentations easily. Doc, we've talked about this. I'm all into Prezi now. And so Prezi is a presentation software that's really 3D-like. You can really do it on the fly. And we're going to do some in here. And I think some good stuff's happening, or conversations between Ecamm and Prezi, that it's the game-changing presentation, the real-time movement of pictures, overlays on top of you speaking, that it's more interactive. And what interactive means is people are remembering it. People are thinking pictures. And it's snowing in Alberta again.
It's snowing. Actually, I don't think it's snowing today.
That's super cool.
you got to get into it, folks. And the whole purpose of this call was to chat with you about, Mark has a very successful business model that goes right deep. You talk about competing with the big law firms, Mark. I'll check you on that and say you're not competing with them because they're not doing it. Mark, they're competing and trying to catch up with Mark because they're too big and they don't think this way. You got it. And for Kirk, let me say, simplify, demystify, rectify. Keep doing what you're doing because, a pro makes the difficult look easy. And if
100%.
you're doing that, keep at it because lawyers are
oh
guilty.
my God.
Guilty. Go to jail for making it too bloody complicated. And if we can do it this way and have what I call, edutainment, it could be investment infotainment. People will remember and say, you know what, I had fun and I learned something. And to me, that is the game changer. Lawyers are bloody exciting if you give them a moment. But like you said, Doc, most people are intimidated and it's always serious. Yeah. And I can tell you, this is a game changer. So try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. You said something real quick. Someone said to us the other day, the success for me for Ecamm is that my people don't even know that I'm using it. Like, it's just everything is flowing because you can't tell that there's something in the way. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually a good point. Like, that's actually a good point. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Mark.
Now, what I was going to say is with all of this, the versatility, what you can do. Like even when I'm on here, I have been using my regular USB connection, but there's so many things you can do. I don't know if some of this stuff you can see it. Probably our view is a little bit you can brand whatever you want, right? There's so many different kinds of overlays that you can do, and when I have big announcements, breaking news, and things like that, you can literally create. You can create exactly what you're seeing with the news wire. And so, little goofy things like this.
Toronto to Puerto Rico was TR to PR.
Yeah, exactly. Temporary resident to permanent resident pathways. Okay. My goodness, that one was a rock. That one just was unbelievable for me. I'll be honest. It was crazy. Like I told Brian it's unbelievable how that course did for me because of the platform that Ecamm allowed me to create. And now with my model, I'm all about teaching people, right? So I teach them, and then the people that just want the peace of mind will hire me to review what they've done, and that's my model. And there's every type of immigration application out there. That's what we're creating through the Canadian Immigration Institute. So it's going to be fun over the next few years.
See, that's Mr. Camera Junkie Luis, he brings up a fantastic comment. People ask every single stream, how did you get the comments to come up on the screen? I swear that comes up so often, and it's like, well, you need yourself a copy of Ecamm. Guys, I just want to remind everyone, and you too, just in case you don't even know, we have this wonderful resource right here. This is our Ecamm Fam. This lets you know all the things that are going on, all of our various shows, especially for you, Mark. Definitely check out Anna and Fulgens and Building Blocks. They do the most incredible things with text overlays in Ecamm, like mind-blowing. This, in the bottom of their screen, their little ENN graphics is 100% built in text boxes. It's pretty crazy. Like, I don't know. Awesome. It melts my head, and I'm good at this. Anna and Fulgens, every Monday they come on and we have a show. It's called ENN, and then they have another show called Building Blocks, where they actually teach you how to do these cool things. Okay. But that entire lower third is completely built in text boxes. Awesome. Mind blowing. Then never mind this dork. He comes on every day inside the community and does.
I know that guy.
Quick tips.
He's really good, Doc.
Yeah, I've seen him around too somewhere.
For you guys who are getting into the graphics, make sure you check out Brother Bradley. Brother Bradley teaches you how to do everything in Keynote and Canva and some other programs to make your stuff look amazing. So you definitely want to check out Brother Bradley. He's really good. Clicking in this little box here and filling out your email, this will make sure that you get the messages that you want to see. That will make sure you know that you're learning. I like to do is take a day for myself. For me, normally it's Sunday, and I'll do like 3 hours of school. I just teach myself, So I'm in Skillshare or lynda.com or, listening to one of your courses, seeing if I can learn about my Canadian process. I'm trying to get my accent together.
Yeah.
then something that we're still working on is myself and the incredible Mrs. Fox is we're over here thinking about doing a show. Let's learn this together, like how to dive in and take apart something that's maybe frustrating or struggling to folks. And we're just going to sit there and work on it together. Yesterday, I had a really cool situation where I tried to do a Facebook room and have a couple people in. So instead of a one-way lesson, we can have a multi-way lesson. Okay, Facebook room is horrible, but we had a blast. So it was myself and Miss Diana Gladney, JP Hightech, who's another incredible teacher, and Evie Heineman, who is like the master of getting your marketing side together. If you guys want to get your marketing together, check her out. And so, yeah, we had a really fun like get together. This is where you get your merch so that you can look cute. And yeah, so everything's in here. It tells you about our monthly challenges. So this is a cool resource. Katie just popped the link in the chat, and that is ecamm.tv/Ecamm Fam. It's a good way to catch up. And, you know, it's fun to get in, but a lot of people have resources and they're going to just like, oh, I don't know how to do all of those things. So again, if you're unfamiliar with Ecamm and you want to get a trial, then you come over here. This is the Adrian that they were talking about. And you can click on the check it out and download yourself a trial and, you know, just have fun. Of course, if you need anything, we're in the Ecamm community every day, making lots of trouble and having a good time and sort of
so Doc,
getting
I got to share this with everybody. Is that
yes, please do.
The beautiful thing about this community is everybody wants to learn and have fun, and it's not a competition. Everyone helps one another, and I think that's the beauty of it. In law, many lawyers compete, and they're type A's of a different sort. And I think when you have challenges or you have questions and you go into Ecamm Live community, it's a great place where people are trying to help and help each other have, you know, improve their game. I mean, even a bunch of church groups were trying to figure out how to deliver their services, and there's Ecamm for churches as another subcategory. But sometimes you can go there and find some really good stuff. But I also wanted to give a shout out. You mentioned her earlier, that deserves a big shout out. Katie works with Ecamm, and she's probably the chief director of marketing. I don't have her title right. I'm just making that up.
It's director of marketing.
Awesome. She is awesome, and that the amount of support and interaction that she does is incredible, and she just demonstrates tone at the top. The twins at Ecamm who started it all and keep innovating and progressing. It's incredible, and I think you have to realize that this is the best tech out there. If you're trying to figure out others, and if you have a Mac, we're all waiting, Doc, like me, for the MacBook Pro 16-inch M1 or M2 chip, whatever they're going to call it. I give it
June
up. I think they're going to call it June 7th. June 7th, exactly. It's just a game changer, and the bottom line here is it's cheap, it's inexpensive, and you can figure it out. And for lawyers, you're not going to say give it to your marketing department. You're going to work with your assistant or your associate, and you're going to ask yourself, how can we deliver our content online and be different, be memorable, be professional? And I think that's the point I want to leave you with. It is possible with Ecamm.
True. It is. That's actually a good tagline.
Boom.
Caleb, break this down. It is possible with Ecamm. No, it's for real. Because
Yes.
you mentioned it briefly, but every day we are mind blown by the things that our users are able to put together with Ecamm. I'm like, I never saw so much. I'm a huge fan of magic. I never saw so much free magic in my life. So the Ecamm community, we have lots of magicians, and so I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I get to see free magic. So yes, it's been wonderful. And you know what? The guys down there, look, we were entertained folks with two lawyers and a DJ walked into a bar. so we were able to entertain folks and keep them well informed. So yes, thank you guys for coming through. I really appreciate you. Yeah, this is amazing. And we'll keep pushing forward, trying to get your legal eagles to jump in and get on here. And man, Mark,
Hey,
congratulations on what you're
Would
doing.
you like us to talk more about in this channel? Things that we could focus on, use
Yeah.
cases, test cases, law cases. We don't care, because I think what we're trying to do here is, like Doc said, start engaging in a conversation of how to use this for lawyers, if that, as a particular area. And we're starting. And so you are at the ground floor, if there ever is a ground floor, because you can always join. But we rather kind of engage with challenges or problems or use cases that you're thinking about. And so share that in the comments right away. And let's all be part of this together. And thank you, Doc.
Yes.
And thank you, Ecamm and Katie, for hosting this. And thanks to my good friend, Mark, for spending his time with us today, too. Lots of fun.
Yeah, it's
great.
been an absolute pleasure. And, Doc, lawyers are always late adopters with everything. So anyone who has even the remotest inclination to try this, and you don't see anyone in your field, your area of the law that's doing it, jump in right now and you will be light years ahead and the other ones just won't catch up. So
amazing.
We're in the early stages. Thanks so much, Doc.
Thank
Brian,
you, guys.
Awesome being here.
Guys, if you have anything, like you want to get in contact with us, by all means, first of all, if you're watching this on a replay, jump down in the bottom. You can ask your questions there. We will circle back and get answers for you. We have a Ecamm for Lawyers Facebook group that we kind of spun up to give everybody a chance to speak and talk to each other. You can, hide from the other people while you're learning this stuff. But no, it's just easier to let you speak your language without confusing, someone who's doing a knitting channel. Probably that's more complicated, honestly. The last time I tried that, I stabbed myself. It wasn't a good look. So yes, you can get in contact with us. You can always send emails to us at Ecamm, of course. I'm doc@ecamm.com. And man, it's been fun hanging out with you two guys today. First time I ever went to go talk to two lawyers and I wasn't in trouble. So
there you
that.
go.
I'm joking. Joking.
There's still time, Doc. There's still time for you to get in trouble. So
thank you guys so much. I appreciate
for all the
you.
Canadians watching, the Leafs in 6. The Leafs in 6. It's code. They'll know what I'm getting at. For those that don't watch hockey, the Leafs will beat Montreal in 6 games to move on. There you go. And Mark can speak to Edmonton because he's probably an Edmonton Oiler fan.
I'm not.
He's not.
Oh, I forgot you're a Calgarian, folks.
Yeah,
yes,
I am.
You're not even in it.
We're digressing pretty quick here.
No, you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to do that. I hold on. I'm going to say, who do I think is going to go all the way? I'll pick the Capitals.
Yeah, he's taking the Caps.
I could see that one.
I miss the days of Ole the goalie. He was the best. But when I grew up, I used to always go to there because I lived not very far from the old Cap Center. So we used to always sneak in and then freeze to death while we're running around the top, hiding from security guards and watching games. So yeah, I know about ice wrestling. Sorry, hockey. All right, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. Let me find my outro music here. Ooh, here we go. Aloha, gang. I appreciate you.
How I love the city of mine. It never gets me down. City of mine.